All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 54 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast, 20 minutes with some of the world's top fitness professionals. I'm your host, Anthony Rennie. You can check out the show notes at continuefit.com. That's where I keep all my podcasts, including Strength Coach TV. All right, for today's episode, I have on Craig Ballantyne. He's the creator of Turbulence Training. Man, that thing is, he's been doing that for like 15 years at least. It's still going strong. The author of The Perfect Day Formula, great book, by the way, changed a lot of things that I was doing. He is the owner of Early to Rise. He's been a contributor to Men's Health magazine for over 17 years. His videos and courses have helped transform the lives of over 7 million people, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, in the last 2 decades. Today, he teaches high-performing entrepreneurs to increase their income and to make more time for their personal lives through his Perfect Life workshops. Craig used his methods to deal with crippling anxiety attacks, and he's currently working on his next book to help high performers overcome stress. Craig, thanks so much for doing this.
Man, this is going to be so much fun, Anthony. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to getting into a little deeper into the Craig Ballantyne story here. So what is it? What is your story? What's that spark to your early roots into your fitness lifestyle?
Well, I grew up on a farm in Canada, and everybody up here plays hockey, and that's what I wanted to do was play hockey. But I learned pretty quickly I wasn't playing in the NHL. So I thought, you know what? I want to be Mike Boyle when I grow up. I want to be a strength and conditioning coach to professional hockey players. And I actually met Mike all the way back in 1999 at a seminar in Montreal where I was talking about interval training. And then I realized, you know what, I'm way too much of a nerd to be in the gym all day long. Whenever I was training people, I was always thinking about going and writing an article about how I was training people. So I got lucky. In 2000, when I was 25 years old and finishing up my master's degree, I stumbled across Lou Schuler's email. And Lou Schuler is a old friend of mine, big dog in the fitness industry, used to be the men's fitness editor for Men's Health magazine. And he was very kind to me. He put one of my articles in Men's Health magazine in 2000. That gave me credibility. That launched my career. That allowed me to start writing for them regularly and also to work on their message board. And then I started getting requests from people to create programs for them, private messages. And so I started doing that. And then I said, you know what, instead of making a new program all the time, because it's almost always the same anyways, I'm going to create a program. And originally it was called Get Lean. And then in 2003, I relaunched it as Turbulence Training. I first mentioned the word turbulence training on my website in 2001. So it is more than 15 years, as you mentioned before. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time. And then, that kind of morphed into videos. We've got videos on YouTube. We have follow-on video workouts. Really, basically, my business was much like P90X and Beachbody for a long, long time. And so that's where I started. That's where I got to. It was a really great experience. I met so many awesome people along the way. And now I help, amazing entrepreneurs like yourself to go to the next level.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, was it hockey that got you into training, though? Were you just kind of like playing hockey and saying, hey, man, I need to get stronger, bigger? That's what everybody's doing? Or was it like another reason that you got into started?
I think it was more vanity that got me into actually training as opposed to performance. And so I started doing like the classic, muscle and fitness magazine workouts when I was 16. I got pretty strong, pretty big, got a few nagging injuries, though, from stupid training. But that was really what got me into it. And then when I went to university, is what we call it up here in Canada, I went and got a Bachelor of Kinesiology degree with that mindset. Hey, I'm going to go and do something at the pro level. And I got pretty close to it. I definitely worked with a lot of high performing athletes. And, I actually sent my resume out to every single team in the NHL when I was 24 years old. And I actually got some letters back from GMs too. It was really nice of them. But I stopped it at age 25 and went right into creating my own websites, creating my own products. And so it was really a big transition year in 2000 when I was 25 years old.
Yeah, very cool. Well, let's talk about growing up. Who was that person? Who was that superhero, I like to say, growing up that you were looking up to, that probably really influenced you to become the person who you are?
I think it was more my father than any external outside of the family. I remember I raced him when I was 12 years old, and he kicked my butt. And that was the day I was like, man, this guy's still got it. And so I really looked up to him. And, he had his faults, but I looked up to him because he taught me the value of hard work, the meaning of hard work. I guess if anybody else had a big influence on me was my boss. I started working for I worked off the farm when I was 13 years old. I was making $3.10 an hour in this like real hard manual labor job. But I was being outworked by a guy who was like 45 years old, maybe even 50 years old at the time. And he was a Dutch immigrant, and I worked at a greenhouse and a garden center. And this guy was working from like 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night. And again, the value of hard work, adding value to people, really doing your best, and delivering something to your customers and your clients had a real impact on me. And so, I've written that guy thank you cards because I worked at that place for like 7 years. So Bill, my Dutch mentor, was a very big influence on me as well.
Very cool. So with your dad and with Bill, at the time, did you kind of realize it? Like, it sounds like it with your dad because you were like, oh man, he still got it. But like a lot of times we look back and we say, yeah, it was my dad. But at the time, were you like, yeah, my dad's the man?
He definitely had dad strength, and I was always impressed by that. I guess I just never really looked up to anybody too much. I was more like just kind of doing my own thing, and I never thought like, hey, I want to be like that person when I grew up. I mean, I really liked Gary Carter from the Montreal Expos and the New York Mets in terms of sports, but I never really said, hey, I want to be like Gary Carter when I grow up. And so that guy was, he won the World Series in 1986, but it was more just like, man, these guys are working hard. I got to go and work hard.
Absolutely. Craig, what about now? I mean, I say this to everybody, but you really, you come across so many amazing people, even you're coaching amazing people. Anybody out there, like I like to say that, who's your superhero now? Who are you looking up to? Who do you think is just, you're saying, man, they're doing some great things?
Well, I would say my friend Bedros Keuilian is really done a fantastic job of building an amazing fitness empire, but also has an amazing family. His wife is a partner. They're really, truly equal partners, and I have great respect for that. Also, my friend Vince Del Monte is the same way, a good fitness business and a really powerful relationship with his wife. They're partners. They raise their children very well. And so I'm really impressed by that. I mean, I went to Europe with Bedros and his family, and we went to many restaurants, and his children are fantastic to go out to restaurants with. They're very polite. Other American families I remember we were in this sushi restaurant in Edinburgh, Scotland, of all places, and they have good sushi in Edinburgh because they have great salmon. And there was an American family beside us, and then there was me and Bedros and his wife Diana, and then their 2 children who were, I think, 8 and 10 at the time. And the kids at the other American family were just screaming and, really not the greatest kids. And then Andrew and Chloe at the Keuilian family table, they were just very polite, and we were having great conversation. They're really mini adults. And so it's very impressive to see how he has raised them. And that's inspiring to me because I'm a big family values type of guy. And so that's who I look up to today. And, I look up to him as a big brother to me.
Yeah, it's funny just listening to so many people and reading. It's such a challenge. And, doing the book that I'm doing and that you're a part of, the Success Book, so many people talk about trying and searching for that balance. They're really, it's hard to get a balance, but to be able to handle that life and work balance, good stuff.
Well, it's not a balance. That's the reason why people can't find it. It's actually called work-life mastery, because a balance indicates or implies that you're going to have an equal weighting. And you're not. As an entrepreneur, you're not going to have an equal weighting between, family, home life, work life, and pleasure life. You're not. You're going to have a great sacrifice in the amount of, regular average type person stuff. You're not going to watch 4 hours of TV, which the average person does. You're not going to sit on the couch. You're not going to do this. You're going to read way more books. You're going to go to way more seminars. You're going to work way more. You're going to have way more success. You're going to have way more opportunity. That's going to bring you way more distractions and temptations, and you're going to have to master that. So it's not balance. Balance is a very weak goal in life. If your goal is balance, first of all, you're going to fail at it. And second of all, even if you reach it, you're going to be disappointed. You're always going to have that feeling deep within yourself, like, I left something on the table here, and, I'm disappointed in myself.
Absolutely. I love the way you put that. And I will tell everybody, if you get the perfect life formula, you are on your way to work-life mastery. Craig really outlines a great way to at least work on achieving that mastery. Good stuff, Craig. What about now? Because you've been in the fitness business for so long, and you've been coaching fitness professionals, and I know you're probably coaching more outside of the fitness realm now, just with your coaching and your entrepreneurs. Who are you trying to be a superhero to? Who are the people you're trying to help with your message?
I would say the ambitious entrepreneur who knows that there's something more, like that person that I mentioned before. Is like, there's this really great quote from Les Brown, who I think it's from, and it's, the graveyard is the richest place in the world because that's where so many hopes and dreams have gone to the grave unfulfilled. And that, oh man, that hits you in the heart. You're like, I don't want to go to the grave with my hopes and dreams unfulfilled. And it's those people who are working really hard, who have gotten some traction, who are, they're at the first level of success, but they want to go to the next level. And I just want to, move them along the game of life to the winning position, because I've done that for so many people. And you're right, it's not just fitness professionals anymore. I work with everything from CEOs of $5 million companies to $750 million companies, and people that have sold their businesses to tech companies, to Silicon Valley. I work with actors in Hollywood. I work with professional athletes. I work with female WWE champion wrestlers who are going to be at some of my events. And I work with all these people, and I want to help them go to the next level, because they are the high-performing, ambitious people who are just never satisfied, and I want to, help them achieve another level.
Absolutely. Let's step back into the fitness industry, though. Like we said, you have helped so many fitness professionals, and somebody like me who's in this business, and I'm going to be starting some coaching. Where do you think we're heading with this fitness business? Because this industry, it's hard because a lot of people start out with great intentions, and you have to diversify your portfolio almost. You can't just work in a gym. There's certain things you have to do. But in your coaching, where do you see this going? Where do you see like the fitness professional that's come to you with these problems, with this ambition? Where is this all going?
Well, it's a great question, Anthony. And the answer is mirrored in our economy today. And it's, in a way, it's not a pretty picture, but it is moving towards serving people who will pay very high value or very high prices. So it's online coaching instead of, for $300, $500 a month, instead of selling ebooks for $20. And, it's just that there's becoming a disparity in income levels. And so even for the trainers out there, you're probably going to be working with people who have very high incomes. You're going to be charging a lot higher than normal training prices, whether it's small group training, because most of the clientele or most of the population is not going to be able to afford it. Now, what hopefully you will consider doing is then taking the money you make, and you're going to make more money with fewer hours with this higher level coaching, whether it's online or offline, and then giving some time back to the community, to people who can't afford it. But I'm pretty sure that's how it's going. On the positive side, you can probably make as much money or more money in fewer hours in the future, because there are going to be people who just want to go and pay higher prices. It's almost like going back to more one-on-one, as we really went into group training for the last couple of years, but people are willing to pay that $300 to $500 a month for nutrition coaching and training online. I'm seeing more and more coaches popping up, and that's where it's going. And I think it's going to be that way with the offline as well.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's kind of like that pendulum that swings, right? And I think what I've seen as well is, obviously there's such a distraction. We're distracted so much that I've seen people try to, kind of take it down a notch and maybe get a little bit more high level coaching instead of just kind of spreading things out a little bit.
Yeah, I think a really good analogy, Anthony, is to take a look at the popularity of meal planning boxes, like Blue Apron, all those things. People are paying more money per ingredient, right? But the ingredients are chopped up, all this stuff. Now, they're still going to cook it or whatever, but they're paying way more than if they went to the grocery store. And there's people who have that disposable income who are willing to do it. And so you have to look at your fitness business and say, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I make the most convenient workout for these people and charge a premium price because they will pay it? It's all about convenience these days, more so than ever. And, it might be that you're going to be going from house to house, but if you're going from house to house for $500 for 30 minutes, then you know what? It's going to be A-okay to do that.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, Craig, now it's time for the Marigold Bars Stop and Give Me 5 segment, 5 rapid-fire questions and answers brought to you by Marigold Bars. Grass-fed, protein, gluten-free, organic ingredients, non-GMO, no preservatives. You actually have to keep them in the fridge because there's no preservatives, and they taste amazing. No lie, these bars are good. Check them out at marigoldbars.com. Craig, you ready for this?
I am indeed.
All right. If anybody that's read The Perfect Day Formula knows you quote Epictetus a lot. If you could have lunch with Epictetus, the Stoic teacher, what would you ask him?
No, I would honestly ask him, how can you help me continue to avoid the envy and avoid the comparison syndrome? I've read the book, I've read your teachings, but how do you do it? It's so hard and I want to get better at it. So just, give me some more insight.
There you go. What about music? If you could be in a band, what band would it be?
I would definitely be a techno DJ.
Techno?
I wouldn't even be in a band. I'd be a techno DJ.
Nice. Give us a book, workshop, seminar that was instrumental in changing your life.
Oh, wow. So many. I'm going to go and say the very first time I went to an internet marketing seminar was 2007. It was Yannick Silver's Underground Marketing in, I think, Washington, D.C. And it was the first time I really stepped out of my comfort zone and started meeting people. And it was big breakthrough. Some of the people I met there are still friends of mine today.
Very cool. In the book, The One Thing, they ask, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? So I'm going to ask you, what's the one thing entrepreneurs can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or better for their business?
A 15 to 90 minute block of deep work with no distractions, no electronics, first thing in the morning as soon as possible. Because if you can get that victory early in the day, the rest of the day can go to heck in a handbasket, but you've already got that victory of deep work, and that's going to change your life.
Absolutely. Love it. What about a movie? Any movie, you could be in any movie from any period, any time. What would it be?
I would say like any of the Avengers movies.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
Very cool. Craig, what's a project you're working on that's kind of getting you really excited?
Well, these days I'm all about my Perfect Life Mentor business workshop program, which you're going to be attending, Anthony. It's going to be amazing, where I help small groups of entrepreneurs really get their business and their productivity dialed in to take them to the next level. That is my main focus in life right now.
Very cool. I can say I'm very excited about that too, so I like it a lot. Craig, let's finish up. What's that letter to your younger self? What's that advice you're going to give young Craig?
Set your ego aside earlier, get a mentor, get coaching, ask for help, and quit being so stubborn and so much of a cheap know-it-all.
Cheap know-it-all. I love it. Well, Craig, thanks so much for coming on and doing this. I mean, you've been obviously helped so many people in the fitness business, so many people out of the fitness business as well. But this is a fitness podcast, but you've been such an inspiration for so many people. Like I said, I'm personally really looking forward to the next year of coaching with you. So thanks so much for coming on and doing this.
Thanks so much, Anthony. It's always fun talking to you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 54 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast. Thanks again to Craig Ballantyne. Make sure to check out all the links to all his stuff at stop20podcast.com. Thanks to Marigold Bars, high quality protein with all the premium ingredients. Check them out at marigoldbars.com. Don't forget, subscribe to the show. Please leave us a rating and a review. It helps us out. My name's Anthony Renna. Thanks so much for stopping by.